Let's go to Capitol Hill now and talk to the House Appropriations Committee member, Republican Congressman Tom Cole of Oklahoma. Congressman, Happy New Year. Great to have you here with us.
Hey, good to be with you, Joe.
So tell me, what wonderful things do Republicans have planned for this new year?
Well, I think we'll probably start off with Keystone Pipeline, something that has never gotten, we think, an appropriate vote in the Senate, but we'll get one this time. I think then we'll probably move on some things that aren't repeal of Obamacare, but some reforms where there may be some common ground, things like the 40-hour work week being restored, and potentially, looking at the business mandate, which the administration has twice returned. And after that, again, we'll be looking for things that, frankly, got passed in the House last time, never got a vote in the Senate.
Do you believe that Americans will see Democrats and Republicans compromising over the next 2 years in a way they haven't over the past 6?
I think there's a chance for that to happen. Quite frankly, we had a very productive lame duck session. I think you saw both sides work together on the large spending bill that kept most of government funded through next year. You saw in the House about 160 or 70 Republicans, about 60 Democrats. So on big deals that are compromises, I think that coalition has already been outlined for us. And so we can do that going forward. We still have divided government. And what our folks need to remember is the president still has a veto pen. He has more than enough votes in both chambers to sustain those vetoes.
So compromise is, at some point, compromise is going to be needed. That said, there's some people in the House Republican caucus that believe John Boehner already compromises too much. What do you make of the challenges to his speakership?
Well, I don't think they're very serious, and frankly, they're pretty disappointing in the sense that any of these people that wanted to run could have run in the conference elections, and none of them did. So by going out and not voting for the conference choice, you're not attacking John Boehner. You're really attacking the Republican conference that you say you're part of. So I find it, frankly, pretty unprofessional and very disappointing.
Congressman Cole, it's Willie Geist. It's good to see you this morning. Let me ask you about another matter, a story that was kind of bubbling up over the last couple of weeks while some people might have been away, and that is Congressman Steve Scalise, your colleague there, giving a speech a dozen or so years ago at an event hosted by David Duke's organization in Louisiana. Do you think at this point, as we turn into the new year and get ready to swear in a new Congress, where you will have a large majority, that Steve Scalise should keep his position as majority whip?
Oh, I unquestionably do. Look, I think Steve was the first to say that being there was a mistake. It's not even certain that he realized what the group was at the time, a long time ago, 6 years before he was in Congress, and I've seen no pattern of that. I've known Steve since he arrived in 2008. Terrific guy, great member. Look, when you've got Democrats rising to your defense like Cedric Richmond did, that's pretty impressive. So I think it's pretty much a flash in the pan and over with.
Curious, just going on in your state, Oklahoma residents concerned about a proposed bill that would make it a crime to wear a hooded sweatshirt, the hoodies. It would actually lead to a $500 fine. Have you heard about that, and what do you think about it?
I haven't, and it sounds ridiculous to me. I mean, there's certainly nothing wrong with people. Hey, it gets windy and cold in Oklahoma. There's plenty of times having a hood would be a smart idea.
All right. I figured. Yeah.
Congressman Steve Bradner, on a more serious note, and to go back to this question of compromise and what might actually happen, as you said, it takes 60 votes to get a non-money bill onto the president's desk, and then, of course, 67 votes to override a veto. So what would you predict will actually get past the 60-vote hurdle or through the reconciliation process? What do you expect to put on the president's desk, realistically, for him to either sign or veto?
Sure. Well, I think we'll return to regular order in terms of appropriations bills, and that's a big part of governance. 12 different bills. Maybe we can move away from these big omnibuses and present these bills one at a time to the president. That offers a lot of opportunities for amendment. Again, Keystone Pipeline, as I said. I think, frankly, potentially an Iran sanctions bill could be very bipartisan in nature, present the administration with a tough choice. So, again, I think there's plenty of things out there, and I think there's things we can work with the president on. We will give the president a trade authority that his own Democratic Senate wouldn't give him and that he's wanted for several years. So, again, I think it'll be a mix of confrontation occasionally, but compromise as well. And if the president approaches it that way, I think he can have a very productive final 2 years. Hopefully, we can deal long-term with the deficit and the entitlement crisis. To me, those are the most fundamental issues in front of us.
Congressman Dorian Warren, the incoming Majority Leader McConnell mentioned two other issues, just to follow up on that question, besides trade, and that is taxes and infrastructure that might find some some compromise available. What do you say about those two issues as well?
I actually think they are fertile ground. Look, my friend John Delaney, Democrat from Maryland, has a great bill on repatriation of stranded profits overseas. It would generate a lot of money that could be directed toward infrastructure. Obviously, if you get a tax reform bill, in former Congressman Dave Camp's bill last session on tax reform, he had set aside $125 billion generated out of reform, again, for infrastructure. So I feel pretty good about that. And Paul Ryan is now over at Ways and Means, and he's demonstrated he knows how to be the architect of a compromise. So hopefully, again, we can do something on taxes that's productive.
All right. Congressman Tom Cole.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. It's great talking to you.
So we talked about